Welcome back. In this video, we are going to see the next topic, which is a recursive function. A function is said to be a recursively or recursive function if it refers to itself. Something like I call myself. My name is Reggie Thomas. If I call my name again and again, I myself calls. That is going to be a recursive. Same way, in C programs or any programming language, we come across a situation where a function calls itself, and that is going to be a recursive call. And when we write a recursive function, two things you should take care. One is every recursive function should have a base value. Base value is the one where we are going to put a full stop, where you are going to terminate the recursive call, where you are going to stop it. If if you don't write a base value, a base function, your recursive call is going to be a infinite recursive function which will never terminate. Infinite function. So what is the first thing? To write a recursive function, you have to find a base value where you are going to stop it, where you are going to terminate it. Second thing is, you can find a general case or general value, and each time when you call this general value, which is going to move towards base value every time, which will move one step towards the base value, because we know that the base value is the place where we are going to stop this recursive call. Think that you have written a function called main. Main is mandatory for the C program. You have written a main. Inside the main, you are going to write it as main bracket semicolon. So what happened? Main bracket semicolon is written inside the main function. Inside your void main open brace, you have written a few statement, then you are writing it. So this main calls the main again. Again, it is going to repeat all the statement till it encounter a function call. The function call is calling the same function, which is main. So this will be repeated. Now what happens? If there is no constraint, if there is no base value, this is going to be repeated, which will never stop, which will never terminate. So please remember, to write a recursive function, you have to find a base value first. Let us see how we can write this. So we are normally very familiar with the factorial of a function. To take any number, let us say 5. So 5 factorial, how do we find it? We'll multiply all the numbers starting from the given number till 1. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is going to give you the factorial of the number 5, right? And we should know that the 0 factorial is going to be 1, right? So we are going to find the base value, or we are going to find how we can convert the given number, and for the given number how we can write the recursive function. So let us see, n is equal to 0. If n is 0, for 0, what is factorial, which is going to be 1? So we can write, if n is equal to 0, n factorial is going to be 1. That is what my base case. What is the second case? General case we call. So if n is greater than 0, what is going to be n factorial? N factorial is nothing but n into n minus 1 factorial. If it is 5, 5 into 4 minus 1 factorial. Simple one. This is going to be a general case. So n factorial is going to be a recursive call because it refers to itself. Look at that, n into n minus 1. This is going to call the same function again. This will be repeated. And the value of n factorial is going to be a arbitrary n defined in terms of a smaller value. Every time you should move towards the base value and see that at certain stage, at certain point, your n is going to be 0, so that we can terminate, right? So let us see how we can write this function. So this is what the recursive function. Look at the procedure. We call it as factorial, fact comma n, and we wrote the base function. If n is equal to 0, we are going to set fact is equal to 1. We are going to return fact is equal to 1. Otherwise, we call factorial. We call the same function with different value. Initially, it was called with fact and n. Now, what I do is I'm going to call the same function with different n value, which is going to be n minus 1. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set fact is equal to n into fact. So this is, so look at this, look at the statement number 2, which is going to call factorial. We are already inside a function called factorial. The same function calls this again with different values. So we'll getting it as fact comma n minus 1. So this case your n is going to be different. So let us take n is 5. So when you call this function initially, look at the first statement. We have factorial fact comma n. So n is going to be 5. If n is equal to 0, you are going to return this value. So this condition fails. It will come to the next statement, factorial fact n minus 1. What happened? Now this is going to be 5 minus 1 is going to be 4. So this will be repeated. This will be repeated. It will go back to the same function again. Now fact n. What is n now? N is going to be 4. Whether n is equal to 0, if it is 0, set it. Otherwise, call this function again. Fact comma n minus 1. Now what is my n minus 1, which is going to be 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. To go back to the initial stage, fact is as it is, n is going to be 3 now. Repeat this. How long I should do this? Till my n reaches 0. If n is equal to 0, you are going to set fact is equal to 1 and return. Right? So this is what the procedure, how we can do it. So this is a small recursive function. The complete program is written, and you can see that there is a main function. Inside this, we can find n is equal to fact 3. We have taken n is equal to 3, and look at from a. There is an arrow mark down. It will come to fact n, and if n is not equal to 0, if n is not equal to 0, what we do is we have taken return n into fact n minus 1. Look at that b. It will go to, it will call the same function with different n value. Now n is going to be 2, which is not equal to 0. So it will come down, return n into fact n minus 1. It will go to the third one, or we call it as c, where your n is going to be 1. It is not equal to 0. So we call this function again. We'll be getting 1 into fact n minus 1. So 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. And if you look at the diagram D, your n is going to be 0. If your n is going to be 0, what you have to do? You should return 1. And the question is where this should be returned. So this is, or this should be returned to the previous function. Look at this. We call this function how many times? 3 times. Together we have 4 times this function we are using if n is equal to 3. Last function, what happened? The n value, n becomes 0. If n becomes 0, you are going to return 1. Where this is returned? This is returned to the previous call. So the complete fact n minus 1, the complete fact n minus 1 will be replaced with 1. You'll be getting 1 into 1. 1 into 1 is going to be 1, and this will be returned to the previous function, which is going to replace fact n minus 1, where you will be getting it as 1. And what is n value for that? N is going to be 2. So 2 into 2 will be returned to the previous function. That is nothing but fact n minus 1 will be replaced with 2. And look at the first function where your n is going to be 3. So 3 into 2 is going to be 6. So you can see h will go back to the main function where your n gets the value as 6, and which is your factorial, which is the factorial for 3. And when you print it, you'll be getting print of percentage d will be replaced with n value, which is going to be 6.